Welcome to the Politics News Wolf US channel. There are many new developments in the Russia-Ukraine war every day. These developments seriously affect the course of the war, the most important development that draws attention from the beginning of the war to this. It's the successes of the Ukrainian army. Before Russia started its invasion of Ukraine, it did not calculate the situation it would face today. Putin thought that Zelensky would surrender with a few attacks, but the situation did not turn out as Putin thought. The Ukrainian army is making history against Russia. The Ukrainian army continues to clear Russian troops from the occupied territories in recent weeks, thanks to the successful offensive of the Ukrainian. The entire Karen enclave west of the Dnipro River has been cleared of Russian troops. This was an important area for Russia to succeed in its occupation. Putin was furious at losing this region. It is even rumored that he will fire the commanders in charge of the region from the army forced to withdraw from Kherson. In the face of successful Ukrainian offensives, Russian troops turned to Bakhmut. The Russian army concentrated almost all its forces on Bakhmut. For this reason, the war intensified in Donbas and Lugansk, plus to occupy Batman, and then move on to Liman City because Liman City has an important position in the. If Russian troops occupy this region, they can cross Ukraine's border, and spread into its interior, but Russia is not getting what it wants. Many of the attacks organized by the Russian army are neutralized by the Ukrainian army. As the intensity of the war in the region increases, important developments are taking place in diplomatic relations. As well know, Ukraine is in constant contact with the US and the US and the UK are constantly providing Ukraine with military ammunition and humanitarian aid. However, these two countries also provide Ukraine with support in another important area that will change the course of the war. This is intelligence. Recently the US and the UK intelligence provided to many intelligence with very important information. This important information was revealed in the report published by the US and UK INTE and the Ukrainian General Staff. In the report, it was stated that Russia was planning a new attack on Kiev. In February, the Russian armies moved towards the cities of Yuk and Liman. Maybe a stage of this planned attack because Kiev is located in the very interior of the Ukraine. For Russia to be successful in Kiev, it needs to spread inland from the Ukrainian. Otherwise it can only organize airstrikes. Ukraine, on the other hand, is successfully preventing most of Russia's airstrikes. Putin's meetings with the leaders of Belarus and China are also seen as a preparation for an operation against Kiev. Putin wants to make up for its failure in the invasion attacks with its contacts. However, the course of the war has changed considerably in many sources where the war map is published. It has seen that Ukraine is only offensive in the areas where it has been defending. Ukraine is moving very comfortably in the Bama region. Senior Ukrainian officials can visit the front lines in this region without any obstacle. One of the important visits to Bakhmut took place recently. Karlo Baino, the head of the main intelligence department of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, visited BMA on December 27, 28. B's visit was widely covered on Ukrainian social media. This visit was interpreted as an expression of the complete clearance of Russian troops from. Another important development published on social media is the war footage. The latest footage shows Ukraine defeating Russian troops in the UND region. Ukraine's successful attacks caused many Russian infantry groups to withdraw from the region. Russian troops, withdraw from Bakhmut, have begun experimenting with new tactics as senior Ryan officials spoke about Russia's new tactic in Bakh. The officials said that Russian troops in the Bakhmut region are now moving in groups of 10-15 people. Although Russia uses such a tactic to avoid attracting attention, no development on the battlefield escapes the Ukrainian army's eyes. Putin is losing territories while facing a shortage of military personnel and weapon. In Bakhmut, which the Russian army lost, the Wagner Group started to carry out operations. But the Wagner Group is also not successful in Bakhmut as it is now. The Wagner Group is a Russian private military training company that cannot get along with the Russian army. The soldiers in this group are mercenaries and earn more money than the soldiers in the Russian army. This and many other reasons are the reason why the Wagner Group and Russian army cannot get. Russia continues to have problems within the army as well while reporting conduct developments in the war. We mentioned that the worry intensified in the Donbass and Lugansk regions. Senior Ukrainian officials reported that Russian troops in Belarus have not made any preparations for the Lugansk region. The officials went on to say that a large part of the Russian army is making serious preparations in the Lugansk region. However, it is unclear what this preparations is for. Some board commentators say Russia is preparing for an offensive, while others say it is preparing for defense. Russia continues to deploy military personnel ammunition to the Lugansk. It is building trenches in this region. The Russian army, which had to withdraw from many regions, seems to try its luck in Lugansk, but the Ukrainian intelligence is aware of all the preparations Russia is making. So why is it not attacking? The Ukrainian army may be fighting for Russia's preparations to end. Because an attack after the preparations are over will cause more damage to the Russian army. The Ukraine could launch a serious attack on Lugansk any moment. The Ukrainian army has become a powerful force with the military support of Western and European countries. Russia, on the other hand, is cornered by sanctions. Russian soldiers and people do not want to fight. Russia, which was on the offensive in the war, is on the defense. But Putin is forced to continue the war for its personal interests. If Russia withdraws from the war in this situation, Putin's reputation will be ruined. Russia, cornered in the war, is also calling for peace negotiations, but the terms of these calls have not changed. The Kremlin says it'll negotiate on the condition that Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Donetsk, Lugansk join the Russian Federated. Although the Kremlin has not given up on its demands, it continues to give the message that we are ready for negotiations. Russia's refusal to compromise on its demand and its declaration that it is ready to talk brings with it comments that the war will last for a long time. But there is a fact that cannot be hidden. Russia is running out of military ammunition. Putin cannot find soldiers to take part in the occupation. Russia is losing over 400 soldiers on average every day. Russia has lost a total of 106,720 soldiers and thousands of military equipment since the beginning of the war. In short, prolonging the war seems to be to Russia's detriment. How do you evaluate Ukraine going on or the offensive from a defensive position? Do you think Putin will compromise his demands? What difference does a prolonged war make? Share your views with us. We endeavor to bring you our valuable followers to developments in the Russia-Ukraine war. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel to update you with daily information.